everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, or A Hobbit's Reading List, and today we are going to figure out my TBR for October. So last month I didn't do TBR Pursuit because of the Tolkien Readathon, and I was sort of debating whether I needed to change it just because of how many books I had to read for class. But looking at my books that I'm going to have to read in October, I think I only have 3 class books, so as of right now I'm going to keep the game the same. But I will also note that there may be some months, probably not this semester, but maybe next semester, depending on, there may be some months where I may have to alter the game slightly so that I'm not horribly stressed out with having like 5 books to read for class and then potentially not being able to get to the other ones. I'm thinking it won't be as bad as like it was in September, but I don't know. But right now it's gonna stay the same. For people who haven't watched any of my TBR videos, TBR Pursuit is my TBR game, and I use the Lord of the Rings Trivia Pursuit board. Each color represents a different genre that is the most popular in my collection. So I'm going to try to remember this. I haven't done it in 2 months. There are 6. So it is romance, classics, LGBT, Jewish, psychology, and fantasy. And then to potentially get the rest of the books that are in my collection, the bigger spaces at the end of each spoke represent Miscellaneous, which has their own prompts. That's pretty much the rundown. Because I'm keeping the game the same right now, I will do 7 rolls, and I have the potential to get additional rolls if I land on a bonus spot. I do have a consequence book because I did not finish reading all the books from August. And so I had a consequence book last month. I also didn't read all the books for September, and I haven't decided if that consequence book is going to roll over. So because I didn't finish my consequence book, I didn't even pick it up. That is going to roll over. I am going to try to put it into the game if I get a prompt that fits, but it will be read this month. And I'm having my dad pick out another consequence book. So this could potentially be a very painful month. We'll see how many books that I have to read and want to read will fit into the prompts that I get. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my first roll. 6, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's gonna automatically be a Miscellaneous. So I'll just go with this one. That's fine. Okay, Miscellaneous is published between 2000 and 2020. That is quite a wide range, which I appreciate, actually. I think some of the books that I need to read will fit in this. So for my first book, a book that was published between 2000 and 2020, I picked The Orphan Keeper by Camron Wright. This was a book that was picked by my cousin Ryan for our family book club, and it is based on a true story of a kid when he was kidnapped from his village in southern India and sold to an orphanage, and the journey that he goes on as well as his family goes on to try to reunite. I don't really know much more about it, and I don't think it's a book I would typically pick up, but because it's from my book club, that's what I'm gonna read. Second roll. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is psychology. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Orange is romance. I'm gonna go ahead and go romance, because I know none of the books that I need to read are psychology. So, romance. My lowest rated romance. Awesome. For a romance that was the lowest rated, I don't have that low rating romances, apparently. The lowest one I have is, I think it's 3.52. Yeah, which is Smart Women by Judy Blume. I guess Smart Women is about a couple different women who are friends with each other and how they support one another as they're like going through marriages that are dissolving, from what I can tell. I'm sure once I get to it, I will have more to say. One, okay. I have a roll again or a miscellaneous. I'm gonna go ahead and go for another miscellaneous because I really want to try to get the books that I have to read in before I even considered picking up another roll. So another miscellaneous. Published or set before 1999. Wow, I'm really paying attention to publishing dates apparently. But you know what? That helps. For a book that was published or set before 1999, I have The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. This is the graphic novel edition. I am curious. Okay. For clarification, the book, the actual novel, was published in 1993. The graphic novel was published in, I think it said 2020 or 2021. Quite frankly, I don't have time to rearrange my TBR, so this is what I'm reading. The source material was published in 1993. It's good enough for me. So Parable of the Sower is about a girl who is an empath, it seems like. And there's a lot of racial tensions, and when her family is murdered, she goes north to try to find a safer space. So it looks really interesting. I'm into it. Okay. One again, which is going to be another romance. Ooh. Romance with a royalty. Okay. I can work with that. For romance with royalty, I am going to reread A Restless Truth by Freya Marske. This is one of my favorite series, and the final book in the trilogy is coming out in November, so I wanted to reread it. And this is the second book, and one of the main characters, Maud, is the daughter of a baron. And, well, I guess now technically she's the sister of a baron. So, royalty. Is it a stretch? Maybe. I wanted to read it. I will tell you what the series is about once I get to the first book. Okay. For the fifth roll, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue is LGBT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Psychology. Or classics. I'm gonna go with classic because I have 2 that I need to read this month. Wow, classic is really buried down here. There we go. 5-star prediction. For a classic that is a 5-star prediction, I have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I have not read Little Women, actually, which is a little surprising considering it's such a classic. I have to read it for one of my classes. So Little Women is about a family of 4 daughters and their mother, I believe, in America in the 1850s, and just sort of like their lives as they grow into maturity, from what I know. Pretty sure. It's 5. LGBT or roll again. I'm gonna go ahead and go for LGBT. I don't have one yet. Okay. Autumn vibes. Yay! Perfect. LGBT with autumn vibes. We have A Marvellous Light by Freya Marske. This is the first book in the last binding trilogy. So this is the book that comes before A Restless Truth. The last binding trilogy is about this magic system in an alternate universe of the Edwardian times, and within the magic system there are varying degrees of power. One of the characters, Edwin, has very weak magic, but he understands theory a lot, but because his magic is weak, he's sort of looked down on as being like a regular person. And Edwin's romantic counterpart, Robin, is a baron now because his parents have died. And he sort of gets sucked into it, and thus his sister gets sucked into it. And throughout the series, they're trying to prevent these other magical people from essentially taking all the magic for themselves. So that's what it's about. I believe it is set. I believe A Marvellous Light is set in autumn, but it gives me autumn vibes either way, just because of what happens. All right, probably the final roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll again. Fantasy or fantasy. So a roll again or a fantasy. Okay, I'll do roll again. Okay. So I have a bonus book. Fantasy or romance. Well, you know what? I always appreciate some romance. Ooh, a hardback. Okay, cool. I like having that option. A romance that is a hardback. I'm going to pick up Spellbound by F.T. Lukens again. I didn't get to it in September, unfortunately, but I do really want to read it. This is a young adult novel about... Buddy. Reese is rubbing against my stack of books, which is very cute, but also very distracting when I'm short on time. You knocked him over! This is about a person named Edison who becomes an apprentice to this sorcerer, I think. And he has a rival who is, a student under another sorcerer. And things are going fine, but then the sorcerers get kidnapped, so they have to team up together to try to find the sorcerers, and feelings happen. That's sort of... And he lay it against my tripod. Reese is being very needy right now, and I don't have the time for it. And then for the final roll, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Miscellaneous. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Classic. Roll again. So miscellaneous or classic. Miscellaneous or classic. I'm gonna go ahead and go miscellaneous, just because of the wide array of books I need to read this month. Okay. Which is a dad pick. Alright. And finally, for a dad pick, my dad was nice and picked Murder at the Vicarage for his pick, which is the book that I was supposed to read last month for my consequence book. So, it's a murder mystery by Agatha Christie. That's really all I know. And my consequence book for not finishing all the books in September was to read Frozen Assets by P.G. Wodehouse, because my dad is a very nice person and he knows I'm very stressed. Other than that, the only other book that I have to read this month is The Jew of New York. I have to read it for class. It's another graphic novel about presumably a Jewish person in New York. I haven't looked it up. I don't have a ton of time right now. I actually had to leave for work like 10 minutes ago. So those are all the books that I'm going to read in October. I'm really hoping I'll be able to get to them all. I should be able to. And yeah, this is a big stack. But this is actually like, it's all fiction. 2 of them are graphic novels. I'm okay with it. So these are the books that I'm going to read. And leave a comment if you have read or want to read any of these books. I am totally down to do a buddy read if you don't mind my chaotic schedule. And like the video, subscribe, click notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload a vlog so you can see my real-time thoughts and reactions. And I will see you guys later. Bye.